Team, how are we? Welcome back to another episode of the High Performance Coach podcast. Today, I am joined by the non-league football king, Mr. Danny Norton. And I thought this would be an incredible opportunity for Danny just to share his growth, his evolution, his journey, his experiences, and what he's been able to accomplish and achieve over the last 12 months or so. He's been on a phenomenal journey. He's got an incredible right foot, and he's also got a dislocated shoulder at this present moment in time. Things that he'll do to try and score a goal. So, Mr. Danny Norton, how are you, sir?
I'm very well, thank you. And yeah, unfortunately, the stupidity got the better of me trying to score a diving header. I should know my limits next time.
Yeah, mate. You were telling me before we started recording this. So, just for the listeners, mate, what happened?
So yeah, literally just ball got whipped in, went for a diving header. I landed awkwardly, and I couldn't get off the floor straight away because I couldn't move my arm. And I got back, ran into midfield, and I said to my mate, I said like, "Does my shoulder look all right?" And he said, "Yeah, it looks fine." So I tried carrying on, but I didn't touch the ball for another 5 minutes. And then as soon as I got on the ball, dribbled past someone, went into like a bit of a collision, and then just landed on it so awkwardly. And straight away, I knew it was out, and I was just trying to get the physio to pop it back in so I could finish the game and hopefully get to take a penalty at the end of it. But unfortunately, I couldn't get it popped back in. So it was a short trip to A&E.
Yeah, dude, not good at all, mate. And on the subject of football, mate, what you saying to my soccer AM skills on the old
Not,
ground? I know you saw.
not bad. Not bad. Bit rusty, bit rusty. Get the old cobwebs off and you'll be flying.
Mate, I'm waiting for yours now, mate. Soccer AM skills, mate. That's what
Oh,
we now need. High performance coach soccer AM Saturdays.
I can't believe I missed it in my bay. I see the old beach five-a-side. I was gutted I weren't there.
Yeah, mate. There's a few of the lads that are not a dab and at footy as well that are basically trying to get a game. We're actually saying 2024. We absolutely need to get like a five-a-side or like a 11s game, mate. It'll be absolutely class. But dude, before you stepped into the non-league coach and before you actually stepped into the high performance coach, where was Danny Norton, and also who is Danny Norton?
So I'm a coach, PT based in Harlow, Essex. I've played football my whole life, and in business before, well, pretty much just over you, literally a year ago, just over a week ago. And it was a weird one because I was sort of happy with where my business was at. It was growing, it was improving, but I just wasn't happy with myself. I don't know, I couldn't explain it. I remember our call like sort of just felt stuck and a little bit lost. And then, even though the business was happy, it was just me personally, I wasn't happy. And he was trying to bridge the gap from that. And then, as the saying goes, get the people thriving, the profit will follow. That's sort of what's happened in the last year. So, just getting me sorted, getting me down to a T, raise my personal standards. And then, from doing that, the business has grown. I've changed the business in like my niche and all that side to it. And yeah, just a lot happier, healthier, fitter, and stronger as well, other than the dislocated shoulder.
Mate, 100%. One year on, the best you've ever been, but just now sat with an arm in a sling, and mate, not able to walk because you've also done your knee as well, mate. You absolutely get the person thriving, mate. So good. And mate, obviously before we kind of stepped in, you said obviously things were going well, but you felt as though something was missing. Tell me more. How would you describe that?
I think like part of it is you get sucked into the social media side of things. So you're always comparing yourself to like other people that you see, especially when you join the HPC. Like there's some absolute OGs in the group, and then you look into that and you start thinking, I'm nowhere near where I need to be, or this is the amount I need to be hitting a month, and you get sucked into the social media, and then you don't realize what you actually want to achieve out of life and what you see as success. So like now I know what I see as successful for me, where I want to get to, and now I'm on that path. Whereas before, I felt like I was on a path that for everyone else, I was just trying to copy what other people do and trying to hit this certain goal, hit this certain metric that was for other people. When actually it didn't matter to me because I wasn't happy at the end of the day anyway. So yeah, sort of just getting me in a place where I know what my goals are, clearer vision, and then now it's just about doing the do and getting there as quick as I can.
Yeah, absolutely, mate. And what in your mind changed?
It's a great question, that. Do you know what? I don't actually know in terms of like what's changed in terms of mindset. Just a lot more relaxed about everything. I think before you're so intense in trying to hit these metrics that you're never happy and you never appreciate what you've actually got, what you've actually achieved over the past year. Like I look back on this year now, and if I achieved this, say last year, I'd probably still looking back and be like, I've not hit this metric, I've not hit this target. Whereas now I enjoy the process a lot more. So it probably is that, just enjoying the process, taking the pressure off, and being a little bit more relaxed and just doing the work, and hopefully it gets you moving forward every day.
Yeah, mate. I think the biggest shift and the biggest evolution that I've seen with you is actually now being able to step into actually who Danny Norton is and being able to actually really own a part of the market and now becoming the go-to within a certain field and within a certain domain. Because I know when we first came in, I can't even was it? It wasn't the Sparky. Who
Is
you
there construction?
construction? That was it. I couldn't remember who it was before. Before it was the construction. The construction coach. I think you'd done like two shifts in your you'd done two shifts in your life, and it was like, that's me. I'm the construction coach, and there was almost a bit of like a disconnect, obviously, for you, which then was really stopping you from being able to really step into what is obviously now the non-league coach. But talk me through that transition and going through that kind of exploration phase, I suppose.
So that was the thing. So all the other coaches that I've worked with, it's all about getting a niche. Like once you niche down, you're going to smash it. You're going to do this. So it's sort of just then like you go into panic mode, and I was just like, right, well, I've worked in construction before, so I'll just do that. And then all of a sudden, I was like working with people in construction, and like just had completely different values, didn't really connect with them. And I remember we spoke about like my Facebook group. It was like Monsters Inc. It was just literally anyone and everyone was in the group chat. And then it just becomes so much harder to actually coach the person. So you end up coaching the process, because it's just like, I have no idea what I'm dealing with, what the problems are, what the solutions are to all these different problems. And then that's partly why I just wasn't fulfilled in enjoying the job, because you're working with all these different people. You end up just getting frustrated and annoyed at yourself for letting these people come in. They then don't respect you, your time, your values, and stuff like that. And then, like you said, it's just a massive disconnect. So then we obviously spoke about like the things I do value, the things I do enjoy, and played football all my life. I know the struggles, I know the problems that they go through. And then that's when we stepped into the non-league king, which like I was absolute nervous wreck about at first, because I thought I'm going to get hammered by the lads in the dressing room. And to be fair, I still get peppered for it now. Everyone still crucifies me for it, but everyone buzzes off it. As much as will people say, "Oh, Naughty's again talking again on videos," I know for a fact they all listen to it. So even though you still get pepper for it, it suits me down to the ground, and I feel like I have a lot more authority in terms of talking about the problems, the solutions, because I've been there, I've done it, I know the struggles, and I'm still going through it myself in terms of like I'm still playing non-league, still have those problems with the missus at home, and she's fuming that you got an away game on a Saturday, trying to fit in your work, obviously then your nutrition before on a Tuesday night game. So yeah, it just suits me down to the ground, and now I feel like a lot more connected with the business side to it as well.
Yeah, massively. It sounds as though the business is now far more of an extension of you and really aligns your values. And someone I spoke to Ryan Certain about a couple of weeks ago as well, we're talking about like proximity is power. And actually, mate, the connections, obviously the networks that you now have, obviously going into a changing room every single week and actually just now being around those types of individuals, even if they're now not kind of clientele, it just gives you all the content that you now need for moving forwards anyway. You just go in with a notepad and pen and you just now can pick up on all of the different pieces, which can obviously become so powerful. Mate, what was the hardest thing about you really stepping into the non-league coach? I know you said that obviously there was you were incredibly nervous obviously around that, because I think this is one of the biggest struggles that a lot of coaches face is like, I need to niche down. I need to now figure out basically who it is that I now really want to work with and who it is that I now want to become the go-to. Mate, what for you were the kind of the challenges with that?
I'll probably say there was two main things. One was the first one being fear of failing. I did not want to step into it and then a month down the line have no clients on board. People then thinking like I'm just this like scam artist for non-league footballers. So that was like a big worry. And then the second one's embarrassment of like going into the dressing room and having everyone saying like, "What do you think you're playing at?" Like trying to train non-league footballers. So it was more those two things that I was worried about more than anything. But once you get into it, doesn't matter anyway. Like the people that will join the program will love what you do, and they'll love like who you are as a person and what you value. And the people that don't, it doesn't matter, because they're not going to join the program anyway. So you're just wasting your breath on something that's not worth wasting over. So that was like the two big things that I was probably worried about getting started with the non-league football side of things, was embarrassment and fear of failure.
Mate, I love that. And what was your first step? Because I think sometimes people go, "Right, okay, now I know this is my person. This is now basically who I now want to be able to help, and this is it." And then like, right, okay, well, what's now next? So from your perspective, in terms of like embodying that and now really stepping into that, what were the first steps that you were able to take, moving from the construction king to the non-league king?
So me and Ben, I remember I had a call with Ben, and it was just about being authentic. So not changing like who I am, not trying to change anything in particular in terms of like me as a person to then change these. It was then just sort of like going, right, this is who I am, this is what I do, this is why I want to help you, and then explaining that to my audience. So why I started a non-league athlete, because I understand that training on a Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, and then trying to fit in your training, nutrition, not really having a clue what you're doing in the gym, all that side to it is more like just stepping into that. And what was the question again? Sorry.
So what was your first step? So what was the first step of stepping into the non-league coaching king? Obviously off the back of now figuring out who it is that you wanted to work with.
Yeah, and then it was basically just like putting it out to the world. So like just not trying to stress too much about every single post, thinking what's this person going to think, what's this player going to think. It was then just sort of changing my content around it, and a lot of it then just become a lot more free flowing, because like I said, I felt like I was just talking to myself, because I was talking to people that I wanted to work with and going through the struggles that I went through, and all of a sudden then it just builds traction, grows over the months.
And how did you overcome in your own mind the judgment, the ridicule, and the changing room banter?
I think you just get used to it. I'm a nightmare in a dressing room anyway, so I'm always hammering people for certain things. So I just thought, if I'm dishing it out, I've got to start taking it. So yeah, that was the main thing really. I didn't think too much, but like as soon as I started posting, got a few people messaging me saying like, "What's this? What's that?" And then remember like the first training session, I was a little bit nervous, and then literally two of the lads come up to me and was like, "That's unreal! Like we've been waiting for something like this for ages." And as soon as I heard them words, I was like, yeah, like this is going to work. I just got to stick with it now.
Yeah, absolutely, mate. And then off the back of that, what's now transpired and evolved, and what's now changed with Norton, the business, and where is it just now?
So in terms of like where it is now, I feel like I'm just a lot more connected. So I've got a lot more time on my hands, which obviously I didn't have before. But also that when I do have time on my hands, I then don't panic and think I need to be doing this, I need to be doing that. Because before I'd end up just sitting in front of my laptop trying to think of content ideas, and then just getting stressed out and procrastinating and end up getting nothing done. Whereas now I just prioritize what needs to get done for that week, and then I get those tasks done. And it's turning more into a business. Before I felt like it was just like a coach. I was a PT, still a PT, whereas now it's actually turning into a business in terms of like eventually I want to have people working for me. And yeah, it's just sort of that's the biggest thing I've taken away probably working with the HPC, is turning it into a business, like understanding tax, all of that side of things that you never even think about, processes, systems, all of that in place now, so it runs a lot more smoothly. Whereas before I was just like the most ADHD person without actually having ADHD, just chaos everywhere. Whereas now everything's just a lot more organized, a lot more structured.
Yeah, mate. Before we jumped onto this call, you basically said like I'm like the happiest and the best that I've ever been. And things are the best that they've ever been.
100%. Yeah, literally. That's probably one thing I'll say is since joining, of the happiest I've been, not just because I feel like I've always been happy with either business, but then social life's gone to pot. Don't have any time because I'm working stupid hours. Then I've not got time to play football. Whereas now, like I can go football. I've got social time with Ab, spending loads of quality time with Ab. Obviously, we've got the holiday coming up to Australia, and I'm still going to be working whilst I'm away. So I've finally got the balance between all three, and I'm still trying to progress all three. I've not mastered it, and I know that, but it's just just a lot happier with where I'm currently at and the trajectory I'm on.
And what would you say have been a couple of like key principles for you that have really kind of been the North Star that have kept you kind of focused and moving forwards, even when there has been some uncertainty or challenge or the unknown that you were stepping into?
Do you know what? So one thing, and I'm not just picking up yourself here, but when you step inside the HPC, for me, I was just thinking like I'm a small fish in a big pond. But then you sort of get to see everyone else's struggles and what they're going through. And like there's some absolute legends in the group. And I was like, I remember one of them, I was literally just jumped on, I think it was a Friday call, and he was talking about his struggles, his problems. It was someone I looked up to, and I'm thinking, hang on a minute, if he's struggling, and he's going through these problems, and he's been doing it a lot longer than what I have, like I just got to get on with it and suck it up, because that is part of building a business and it's part of life. Like shit does happen. So that was probably the big thing for me, is just understand that you're on your own journey and shit is going to happen along the way, but just keep chipping away. And as the famous saying going is, like, just do the work, no matter how you feel, what your energy's like, and it will all start moving in the right direction.
Yeah, mate. And we spoke about before, I remember when we were talking about obviously stepping into obviously like the non-league football athlete side of things. And we're speaking about obviously building the community and actually now being able to have like the changing room, understanding again, like thinking about obviously the brand and now really looking at it through the lens of mate, obviously, I know that you're not a massive Arsenal fan like Mr. Ben Leader. I think you would be offended if I said that you were. But you're the opposite. We're obviously speaking about obviously when you wear the badge. When you obviously when you wear the badge, or you now basically support a team, and it's because your dad supported that team, or your granddad supported that team, and then their great granddad supported that team, and it's like you're not now kind of in the terraces. You're not now wearing the shirt just because the starting 11 that are on the pitch. It's the almost like it's the heritage that comes along with it and what it actually means and represents to actually now be a part of and or to support that. And so you no longer become a team. It's the club. Regardless of whether they now lose every single week or where they are or how they're currently getting on, you pay your money, you turn up, and you will literally give up so much of your time and energy and emotion just to obviously go and watch them at the expense of other things. And it's looking at how you can build exactly the same with your coaching business as well, and actually building a community and building obviously a group of people that are now working towards a common goal, that they now feel as though they're part of something bigger than themselves. And if I look back at like why I miss football the most, it's the change room, and it's the people that you are around, and it's like being part of something and now working towards something and being a small part in like a big machine, I suppose. And you had to play your part because you didn't want to let the people to the left or to the right of you down. So how has the community side like shifted and evolved since you've been able to step into this like narrow and deep niche, I suppose?
Yeah, so to be fair, that was probably one of my biggest weak points in terms of when we first when I joined a year ago. Was I had the Facebook group, I had the WhatsApp groups, and it was just chaos. Like no one was getting involved, no one was messaging, and I feel like I struggled to get my point across in terms of like the importance behind it, because I just knew deep down it wasn't going to work because everyone was so different. Whereas now, like you said, it's like just being with your lads on a Saturday, but now they're just part of the non-league athlete program. So everyone's chatting, everyone's getting on well. And then obviously we do like the mini meetups now, gym sessions, strength sessions, power sessions, and everyone just gets a buzz out of going to it, because it's like just meeting up with your mates and then going for a coffee, going for a gym session. We had a little Christmas meetup with a few beers the other day. That was pretty decent as well. So yeah, it's just sort of like having that bond, that togetherness, that you're all in it together, all going through the same struggles. You all want to improve, whether it's on the pitch, off the pitch. And yeah, just that creating that bond really. I never really get too down about like people commenting on the Facebook group anymore, because I know that if people do want help, they know that other people are there to help them as well. So it's, at first I felt like people had to always be messaging, always be replying. And now it's a matter of people just know that it's there if they need it, sort of thing.
Yeah, I love that, mate. And from a marketing perspective, and actually now being able to generate leads, what are the strategies that you've been able to implement that have now allowed you to obviously attract the right types of clients into your world?
I think just being authentic is the main thing. So just trying to be myself. And then when I speak about my clients, like getting their points across as well. So why they started, what they struggled with, to where they are now. That's the big thing. Once people see results and they see that your clients come from this position to where they are now, they can resonate with that, and they're like, that's exactly how I felt, or this is what I'm going through. So first thing is just being results and becoming a better coach, which has obviously been a massive thing as part of this process as well. Just actually becoming a better coach and learning the trade a lot better, because getting a qualification is one thing, but actually being a good coach is another thing. And then I would say just literally being consistent with everything, whether I'm having a bad week, a good week, just making sure I'm putting out content, giving out value, building my trust, building authority with people, and just becoming that go-to person. That was the main thing. I wanted to become that go-to person where if someone's in the dressing room that I've never even played with before, and they're saying, "Oh, like I want to lose a little bit of weight," I want someone to go, "Do you know what? Nort's, follow him on Instagram. He's the lad that you want to go and train with. He's the absolute goat of it." So yeah, that's the sort of like what I wanted people to start looking at the program like. And then in terms of growing it as well, it's just doing the meetups. People then get to see what it's like when you're meeting the clients. You're getting that face-to-face aspect as well, because obviously online people still probably fear it a little bit. Obviously it helped with COVID, but people still feel like online is just like going to jump on a Zoom call. You're going to do a session. I'm just going to watch you through a camera. And it's the complete opposite of that, but it's trying to get your point across on how that works. Yeah, and I'm trying to think what else. A couple of plug and play posts that the lads have put into the group chat. That's been a game changer. The one that we done the other day where I said to you, like, it was unbelievable, just putting a post out saying, "Hey, look, over Christmas, if you're having a few beers, tap here," and then just giving out free tips and free advice over it. That literally got like 60 odd comments back, starts conversations. And then also it's real conversations. You're not just spamming people saying, "Hello, I'm Norts, I'm a PT, jump on this plan." It's then you're actually having real conversations with people. And do you know what? If they don't sign up today, it doesn't matter. I've helped them out. And I know that in 3 months, 6 months, 9 months' time, I'll be the first person they come to when they do struggle with something, they do need help.
Yeah, man. I think the biggest thing is always is, and I shared this obviously in a podcast we recorded last week, and it was the lead gen masterclass I delivered a couple of months ago. Is like when you always now lead with value, you're just now very much just focusing on actually how can I now just ensure that I'm leaving somebody in a better place than what I found them, and just now being able to play that longer term game. And it's again that orchard mentality. It's like, well, if you can now sow the seeds, you can now build, you can now plant and grow the trees. Then again, you just have to continue to like nurture, and you just have to continue to nourish, and you have to continue to walk down. And all it is just being able to very much focus on how much can I now give. And if I now know that I can articulate my perfect client problems better than they can explain it themselves, that's when I can become the go-to. And then you can also create super relevant, specific lead mags and or value pieces that will actually now connect you, that allows them to take a slice of the cake, allows them to see actually how you can now help them. And again, like the biggest thing is like, how am I now building, or how much trust am I now building in the marketplace? And when you can become known for like one particular thing, and I believe you can be incredibly specific, like initially, it just allows you to become that authority, and it allows people to burn less calories around what it is that you do. And there's quite often a fear, and I'd love to know from you, dude. It's like there's quite often a fear that when you first started, you weren't where you now wanted to be, and you didn't have the leads that you now wanted to, and the business wasn't where you now had expected it to kind of get to. Was there a fear around going like more narrow and deep, and then alienating obviously a lot of the market because you were now just going to be this guy, and you felt as though that the business wasn't where it should be, so therefore actually speaking to a fewer subset of people was actually going to almost go against?
Yeah, massive. Yeah, massively. I remember speaking to Abby after jumping off the call with Ben, and Ben was just like, "Step into it, like this is you now." And I remember I said to the missus, like, got back home, I was like, "Right, this is what I'm doing. This is the niche I'm going for." And she's like, "You're mad, like that's not going to work." And I was like, "Why not?" Got me back up a little bit. And she's like, "Why would you now only go and work with, say, 100,000 people when you can have millions?" And I was like, tried to explain to her about like the Monsters Inc. program doesn't work for everyone. So yeah, it was like a massive fear in terms, because you feel like you're just then saying no to thousands and thousands of people, and all of a sudden it's like, right now I'm only going to be working with this set person, and you start worrying about, is there enough competition, like is there too much competition? But then once you realize that you are you, get your personality across and what you do and what you're good at, prove that you're a good coach. Doesn't matter how much competition there is, because they'll come to you eventually. So yeah, I think the saying is right. Go narrow and deep.
Absolutely, my friend. I think it's the magic always lies behind the fear that you're facing, and it's actually just being able to now step into that. And it's like, right, okay, if my business isn't now where I want it to be, it's like, well, okay, I probably just now need to pick one thing, choose one thing, and now obviously step into that. And now being able to really own that, and like you say, if you now feel as though it's an extension of you, I think when you can do that, you're not having to second guess or question your content. And again, mate, even just the ascension and improvement of your content has been monumental, because it sounds like you're just literally creating content for noughts instead of thinking, what do I need to create, or what do people want to see, or what do people basically want to hear from me? It's actually, well, what do I want to talk about? What am I excited by? And actually, what's the content that I now want to create that feels good for me, rather than trying to please other people. And in doing so, you attract the individuals that are right for you anyway.
100%. I remember literally every month I'd sit there with a pen and paper trying to write down all these content ideas. And I'd end up then spending probably 2-3 hours on social media, scrolling through everyone else's posts, trying to get ideas off of other people, and then trying to turn it into my own. Whereas now I just literally get the pen and paper and I'm like, right, what have I struggled with this month? Or what will I struggle with next month? Whether it's coming into Christmas period, is there going to be more games? People getting injured over the Christmas period, dislocated shoulders, all of these sort of problems now that I'll go through. I just jot them down, write them down to little ideas, and all of a sudden I can then just schedule it in. And it probably takes me an hour now to get all the ideas down, and then whether I'm filming it, whether it's carousel, anything like that, can just punch it into a little Excel spreadsheet and away it goes. Whereas before it probably take me 3-4 days to do a month's worth of content, whereas I can do it probably in half a day to a day max now.
Yeah, mate, I love that. And mate, I know obviously the business has grown, we've attracted better quality clients, and obviously the community is way, way greater, and the results that you're getting, mate, are phenomenal. And even the interaction and engagement, and actually what you're now building is only going from strength to strength. But what's been the biggest shifts that you've now seen in Noughts by being able to create this alignment and being able to really step into a business that you now enjoy?
Just literally, like we said earlier, just a lot happier. I feel like that the happiness has probably been the best thing, because now I'm building the business that I've always wanted. And even though I'm not there yet, I still know I've got absolutely loads to learn. But that's the exciting thing with it. Before, I had no idea where I was going, and you just feel like you're banging head against a brick wall. Whereas now I've got a clear vision. It's just like, right, follow the process. These are the things that I need to do to get where I want to get to. And it's now just trying to tick it off and do it every day, and gradually just improve and get better as a coach and as a person. Which, yeah, I'd definitely say has happened massively over the past year or so.
Yeah, mate, huge. I remember there's been several times where we've obviously had calls and communication. I think, mate, it's those times where you're obviously sat within that uncertainty. It's that capacity to be able to now trust and back yourself, and just now trust your own intuition and follow your nose in terms of, right, okay, this is what I want to do. This is what I want to step into. Yes, there's obviously uncertainty. Yes, there are people that are now questioning like what I'm doing and why I'm now doing it. Also going into the dressing room and having the lads take the piss out of you, which, to be fair, you get that regardless of whatever it is that you now do. It's always a lose-lose. I remember exactly the same when I stepped into like the bodybuilding side, and then obviously the online coaching side. And like I would obviously not like drink after games, and because I was kind of competing at the time, and I'd obviously be eating in their mind obviously all these weird foods. And again, it was that thing. It was like you got the piss taken out of you, and obviously it was kind of a laughing and a joke, and it was obviously great banter. But then off the back of that, what you then don't realize is like 1, 2, 3 months down the line, the people that were actually having the dig and the pop and were taking the piss in a fun way are actually then the ones that are dropping you a message and just saying, hey, just wondering if you'd be able to kind of help me out and write me a plan or whatever it now might potentially be. And actually what I realized was that you always had the people that you thought would then kind of be interested, especially in that dressing room mentality. But then there was always a couple of outliers that I never thought in a million years that was so against the fitness thing, that eat a Macca's before they would play or whatever, that they would always end up being the ones that would also eventually come in, and you'd be like, it's crazy, but in a really powerful way.
100%. I remember, so I won't say the name of the person, but I remember this one person peppered me when I first started. Before every training session, made a big announcement of it, just absolutely hammering me in front of everyone. And after like the first 4 or 5 times of it, I was thinking, right, I've had enough now. Like, you're doing me head in it. It's getting a bit repetitive. And I left that club, went and joined another club. As soon as I left, got a message off him saying, Notes, like, have you got any spaces available? So I got into a conversation with him, we was talking, and then straight away, he was all over it. And then he was like, oh, but no one else can find out that I'm doing it. He was like, I want it to be like a massive secret, like, don't want to post like no social proof, no results, nothing like that. It just has to stay between us two. And I thought it's the exact same as what I was like when I was trying to go into the non-league athlete program and design it and put it out to the world, because I was panicking at what other people would think. And he was going through that same process. He was hammering me, but he actually wanted to join, but was worried about what everyone else was going to think. And obviously I got that point across to him. So yeah, it just shows you like the most random people in the world that will be peppering you and have their opinion probably want to join at some point anyway, but they're just too scared.
Yeah, absolutely, mate. I shared on the tune up a couple of weeks ago a video of the leader and the follower with the dancing in the dancing in the field, and it's like you go and search it on YouTube if you haven't. I literally think you just type in like leader and follower dancer video or something. I can't remember what I typed in. It's got like 10 million views, and it's basically a bloke at a festival, and he's just basically dancing to his heart's content in literally a pair of shorts, and it looks as though he's a bit of a maverick, just kind of standing by himself, and everybody's watching. And then a couple of minutes later, some other bloke joins him, and then before you know it, like there's just hundreds of people. And when it now comes to stepping into something new, like you have to be okay with like standing there almost naked and basically feeling incredibly exposed, but having the confidence and the belief, and this is what I stand for, this is what I do, this is me, this is basically what I want to be able to try and do. And actually, it's really powerful and important that you have that. But then actually even more integral is actually being able to have that first follower, that first person that now goes, well, actually, do you know what? The early adopter and like the adoption curve cycle, it's like, I want a bit of that. That's basically a bit of me. And it's that first follower that then actually allows other people that opportunity to then be able to step in, and it becomes the norm. And what you then start to see as the business grows and evolves, if you look at the adoption curve, you obviously have the innovators, the early adopters, the early majority, the late majority, and then you get the laggards, the people that are the most resistant to change. And that's why it's so important that you don't just continue to chop and change like your niche and your market and your message like the weather, because otherwise you never give it enough time. And actually the majority of your leads and the majority of your clients and actually your business growth and ascension is not built in that first initial period. It's actually being okay with feeling exposed and vulnerable and almost like nobody's listening. It's actually them bringing those couple of initial people on that are like, yeah, I want that. And then that brings everybody else in. And it's just, yeah, being okay with like standing there naked and feeling exposed initially, which takes enormous courage and does take bravery, because being judged is a normal human characteristic and trait, but nobody likes being judged, but we judge everybody anyway. But I think it's your relationship with that judgment that's the key and the integral thing.
Yeah, and that's exactly what I remember. Like, it's always the fear of what other people are going to think, them judging you. But you hear it all the time. Like, people are going to judge you no matter what you do anyway. So you might as well go and do what you actually want to do. Because if it's in line with you, that's what's going to make you happier. And if people don't like it, then it's tough. There'll be things that they do that you don't like. But there's no point losing sleep over it, because at the end of the day, it's the one thing that's going to stop you from getting to where you want to get to in life.
Yeah, 100%, mate. So if I could now come down to Essex and I could write a blank check, and I could basically write a blank check, and I can now take you back to Danny Norton a year ago, a year and a week ago, and I could say, right, okay, Norton, write a number on this blank check for how much you would pay for you to now be where you are right now. What would that number say?
It'd be double what the coaching cost me in the first place, put it that way. Yeah, literally, yeah. I wouldn't even be able to put a figure on it. But yeah, in terms of like, if I was to look back on this year and let's say fast forward to now, you said to me, this is how I'm going to feel. This is where the business is going to be. This is what it's going to look like. Yeah. And you said to me, this is the price of the coaching, double what I pay. I'd probably bite your hand off and say, yeah, do you know what? I'm all over it.
And what's next for Danny Norton?
Keep growing, keep improving, become a better coach. That's the main thing. I know I've got so much more in the tank, and I feel like it literally is the start. So even though I've been doing online now for 3 years, I look at the first 2 years as just literally as that famous photo, fuck about and find out. That's literally what I've been doing for the past 3 years. So I've got a lot more fucking about to do and finding out, and yeah, just keep growing, trying to be the best version of me, grow the business, get a team on board, and just trying to change as many people's lives as I can, whether that's like not even just to do with the business side of things, just trying to have that positive impact. I feel like there's not enough people that are spreading enough positivity in the world. So yeah, that'd be the main thing.
Right, and what about on the football pitch? What's the next? Obviously, get back to full fitness first.
Yeah, literally just get back to full fitness. That's the main thing. Obviously, this year is going to become a bit of a write-off. So I'm probably going to be out for the next 4 to 5 weeks anyway with this dislocated shoulder. We then go to Australia for 8 weeks where I'm going to be working whilst we're away. So then when I come back, it's just about getting my head down, and then just trying to push on again, try and get back to the highest level that I can, and enjoying it. That's the main thing. Like I've literally last season, probably my most favourite season I've ever had, but it helped that it was local. It was on my doorstep. I was playing with my mates. And it obviously always helps when you're winning games as well. So yeah, that's the main thing. Just try and enjoy it as much as I can. Try and keep that balance between business, football, and spending quality time with family, and obviously Abby as well.
Yeah, mate, I love that. And what would you say has been your biggest life lesson over the last 90 days
90 days.
or even last quarter?
Trying to think. Biggest lesson 90 days. When you think you've cracked it, you haven't. Take your foot off the gas, and it soon comes down you like a ton of bricks. So you just got to stay consistent and not get complacent. I think every time you get complacent and you feel like you've cracked it, another problem comes up, or the business starts to slow down, or your social life starts to get more involved. So yeah, I have to say that's probably the biggest lesson is you just can't take your foot off the gas.
Mate, I love that. And if I reflect back as well, that was probably one of the biggest things. It's like, mate, you would previously make some great momentum for like a short period of time, and then it would stop, and then it would be like, right now I've got to rebuild again. And it's again that consistently good instead of occasionally great. And actually, how can I now ensure that I'm now continually compounding and building and doing the work and doing the reps and doing the do anyway, and then just understanding, right, okay, like how do I now want to behave? And is this now in alignment with the person, the life, the business that I now want to be able to create? And it's just making sure that you're stacking the odds and putting the two P's into the machine that are now moving you forward in the right direction. So no, dude, I absolutely love that. And mate, who's going to win the Premier? Mate, I don't actually follow. I've not followed footy this year. I followed footy last year because of the all or nothing Arsenal. But to be fair, mate, I did enjoy the all or nothing Spurs as well back in the day, mate. I thought that was pretty sick with Mourinho. But mate, I actually looked at the league table yesterday and I didn't realize that Villa were third in the league. I almost had to lie down when I saw
Uh,
that because I was like, I've never seen such a thing.
so Villa are absolutely flying. Anyone but Arsenal to win the league, and I'll be a happy man. That is the one thing I do not want to see. Whether it's Villa, Liverpool, Man City, as long as it ain't Arsenal, I'll die a happy man tomorrow. I can't have that happening. Not
You
in my lifetime.
you and Ben Leader having it. You and Ben Leader having a fight around who's winning the Prem.
I know. The thing is, I try not to get involved in the banter side of it because I know that's the one thing that I can't take banter with is when it comes to Arsenal winning. I never batter any Arsenal fans because it's just not worth it. If they do win the Prem, I won't be able to put up with all the stick I'll get. So I'll just keep my mouth shut when it comes to that.
Yeah, mate. I tell you what, I actually I feel one of those things like with the documentary. I love a documentary like Netflix or whatever it is. Mate, I'm obsessed with just if there was a documentary every week on like that type of stuff, mate, I just watch it, I just love it. And it was the all or nothing Arsenal, and mate, I loved Arteta. I just thought he was great, and this so good just to see what obviously goes on behind the scenes. And off the back of that, both me and Leanne were like just became like these massive Arsenal fans for about for about 3 months, and then just sacked it off. But yeah, you do get so into it, mate. Did you watch it or did you refuse to watch that one?
No, I did watch it to be fair, and it does change your opinion on like Arteta as a person because his interviews after he comes across the most annoying bloke on earth, but then you sort of understand it because he creates that us versus them mentality. Um, and obviously he then goes like in real detail on like the psychology and building that togetherness, that bond, and that community, which he does with a club. So it's quite easy for us to watch that and then go, right, if he's doing that with a football club, we can do that with our coaching business. So you do end up learning loads from it. It's just a shame that it was Arteta that was doing it. But I'm hoping Ange Postecoglou gets one out soon because I'll be all over that.
Mate, I think I was watching Beckham. Have you watched Beckham?
Yeah, I watched that one.
And
Yeah,
that was sick. I loved it when it was like I think it was Beckham where it was like Gary Neville was basically like when Sir Alex Ferguson basically would just be like we're an island. Like
yeah.
this is literally like we're on an island and like they basically like nobody can take us because we're literally on this island and we're basically just it's us against them and just again creating that exact kind of like mentality and that ethos. And again, that comes back down to what we are talking about earlier with the club and the team and the community element and component. Like it's like, what do I stand for? What do we stand against? This is what we do. This is how we do things. And being able to almost like use that. And you see that obviously in football and rugby and any type of sport. And it's actually being able to think about actually, well, okay, like what does Nort or what does whoever now kind of stand for and actually being okay with that so that people can actually now come with you. And again, that's that being kind of leader mentality, which is huge. So mate, you're basically saying on quids in on Arsenal winning the league then is what I'm hearing.
Nah. Honestly, I can't have it. I cannot have it. I still think City will come back. Obviously, Kevin De Bruyne, he's back in training now, so that's obviously a massive factor in it. And Arsenal bottle jobs. Everyone says Spursy, but Arsenal crumbled last year. And then the year that everyone says Spurs bottled it, Arsenal spent more days top of the table. So Arsenal are the bottle jobs here. So yeah, I don't fancy Arsenal one bit.
Oh man, I'm gonna have to get you and Ben to do a podcast together, mate. That's gonna be the one. Just literally
Yeah.
that'll be it, mate. I'm a part-time football person now, mate. I have very little to no interest anymore. So yes, mate, we'll have to get Ben involved, and we'll have to set up that 2024 summer training camp. 11-a-side, high performance coach versus the rest of the world. That'd be sick.
And we'll be getting smashed in attack if Arsenal have won the league by that point.
Class. Mr. Danny Norton, massively appreciate you, dude. The growth has been absolutely amazing, my good sir. Excited for what's to come. If anybody wants to watch, follow, and or see anything that you're up to, what's the best channel for them to get you on?
On Instagram, either type in the non-league athlete or Danny C. Norton.
Dude, you're a legend. Appreciate you. And mate, look forward to catching up soon. Take care.
See you soon. Thank you.